Greetings. We reach in this discussion just, the last, few minutes or a short time, not minutes, the short lapse of time after all the promises that the Lord made between the blessings and the curses. And this is the end part where after he said curses, 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 this is the last part, the tail of the discussion before we move to what happened. Did he apply the blessings or he applied the curses? We will see. So let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 23, start with verse 15. It says, "But just as all the good things the Lord your God has promised you have come to you." So the Lord is assuring, I promised you all kind of good blessings, and it will come to you. But as sure as this will come to you and will happen, also what else? What else? So you're going to receive the blessing, but what else will happen? And not very, very long time. "So he will bring on you all the evil things he has threatened." So this is the part of the threat that we have been speaking about in 50 verses. Curses, piles of curses on top of curses. So, as it is sure that they will receive some of the blessings for a very short time, but he also will bring on you all the evil things he has threatened. So the threat stands if they do not obey. "Until the Lord your God has destroyed you from this good land he has given you." So he will continue to bring the evil things and the curses over them until their destruction. Until their destruction. And this happened twice. Twice. Why twice? We explained that the first time, because they worship idols and they did everything that offends the Lord, never following any of his commands. As Moses said, the commands that I'm bringing you today, before you enter the Holy Land, you have to be careful about them. They did not. And they worshipped idols. The worst sin ever you can commit against the Lord is worshipping idols. And they did. So the Lord said and threatened, he will curse them until they are destroyed. And this is what happened by the Babylonians. The first time, the Babylonians killed 50% of the Israeli Jews between Samaria and Judea, and took the rest as miserable slaves. They lived 100 years and came back with a stupid trick, satanic, evil, rotten trick from a harlot named Esther and her uncle Mordecai. They tricked Cyrus of Persia, and they came back against the wish of the Lord who uprooted them. So the Lord had to uproot them one more time at the hands of Christian Rome. And they were taken out of the land for almost 2,000 years before the stupid West brought them back. Not the Lord, but against the wish of the Lord. All right, if you violate the covenant of the Lord your God, which he commanded you, and go and serve other gods and bow down to them, the Lord's anger will burn against you, and you will quickly perish from the good land he has given you. So please pay attention here. This is a very serious threat. What the Lord is saying. I'm going to take you to this good land. I promise you endless blessings. But if you go inside the land and go and serve other gods, means idols, or whatever else, idols, trees, monkeys, donkeys, like what's happening in India, with the Hindu, they worship snakes and monkeys and all kind of miserable things. So here the Lord is saying, but if you serve other gods and bow down to them, worship, remember this now. This is the beginning and the start point of our next part of the discussion. The Lord is threatening them. If you worship idols or worship anything apart from the Lord Almighty. So if you do this, what will happen? The Lord's anger will burn against you. The Lord's anger will burn against you, against the Israeli Jews. And it did. And you will quickly perish from the good land He has given you. Quickly. So how quickly? Okay. See, Persia was controlling the Holy Land for a period of time after they defeated Babylon. Then Rome had the upper hand in a war against Persia and kicked the Persians out of the Holy Land and the Jordan, also Iraq. So now Rome is in control of what they called later on the Syrian province, or it was called the Syrian province. Now Rome is in control of the Holy Land. But for how long? Not too long. Few decades. And then Christian Rome, they uprooted the Israeli Jews from Palestine. It says, quickly perish from the land. And they did. This is exactly what happened. They quickly perished from the land of Palestine, the land of milk and honey, the Holy Land. Very well. Now let's read, backtrack, a little bit to older books. Back to Leviticus chapter 26. It says, do not make idols. Again, we are focusing now on the issue, the Lord orders and commands. Remember, be careful about the commands of the Lord. Some of those commands, what were they? We just mentioned, the Lord said, if you go after other gods, you will perish quickly from the land. Quickly. Now, let's backtrack, to Leviticus again, regarding the issue of the idols, worshipping anything apart from the Lord. Do not make idols or set up an image or a sacred stone for yourselves. Image or sacred stone for yourselves. And do not place a carved stone in your hand to bow down before it. I am the Lord your God. So it's very clear. We read in Joshua, now we're reading back from Leviticus. The Lord was very clear. Do not bow to anybody else except the Lord Almighty. Do not worship anything, images of yourself or any other creature on earth, or stones or wood of any kind, and bow for them. Your own handicraft, man-made stuff. Also in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 25, it says, after you have had children and grandchildren and have lived in the land a long time, if you then become corrupt and make all kind of idol, doing evil in the eyes of the Lord your God, and arousing His anger, I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you this day, that you will quickly perish from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. It's very clear. Very clear. If they worship anything else apart from the Lord, not only following the commands, but worship is more important than the commands. More important. So being careful about the commands, they should be more careful about what they worship. So if they worship anything apart from the Lord Almighty, again He says, you will perish quickly from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You will not live there long, but will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and only a few of you will survive among the nations to which the Lord will drive you. There you will worship man-made gods, idols, of wood and stone. Very clear. So this will arouse the anger of the Lord against them. And they did. Which cannot see or hear or eat or smell. It can do nothing. No good for anything. Cannot harm you, cannot do you any good. But if from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your souls. And they never did. Now the book says, for periods, when they are really oppressed and under tremendous pressure, they did seek the Lord and the Lord helped them and they go back, they slide back, over and over and over again. But in fact, this continued for a long time that the Lord had it with them. He was fed up. That's it. He put his foot down and he said, this is the end. Perish from the land, quickly. Only a remnant of you, 50%. Very well. So now we know that there is a threat about worshipping idols, images, or any other thing, apart from worshipping the Lord Almighty, the only one that deserves worship. If they do, they will be uprooted. And it will be a pleasure for the Lord to do this. Remember, he said, as it was a pleasure for me to bring you to the land, it will be also joy and pleasure and happy heart to uproot you from the land you are about to possess. So the next time, you'll start seeing how they responded to the threats the Lord made. To the promise and the threats the Lord made, and how they worshipped idols miserably, worse than any other nation. Take care.